Hello friends, welcome to this video, and in this video I will today show how we can use Spring Data REST as well as Spring Data JPA together. So basically Spring Data JPA helps us connecting to the DB. So if we are not providing any DB, Spring Boot could load a default in-memory database, and the Spring Data REST is built on top of Spring MVC. So whatever repository we would be creating as part of our Spring Data JPA, the automatically Spring Data REST creates RESTful web services for it. So to start with, we will take help of Spring Initializer. So we will go to Spring Initializer by typing the URL start.spring.io. So it is a tool where we can create a basic template for a Spring Boot application. So I will choose my project as a Gradle project. You people can choose any build tool of your choice, either Maven or Gradle. My language would be Java. The Spring Boot version would be 2.3.1, and the group name I'll change. I'll make the group name as org dot uh, spring dot data dot example. Artifact name app, and description demo project for Spring Boot data rest plus JPA. Now I'll add the dependencies. The dependencies, I have to type the dependency name. One is JPA. Second dependency would be data rest. So if you see uh, m data rest, so it will allow the rest repositories. That is what we have to choose. So then I can click on generate, which will create a zip file consisting all the template for a basic Spring Boot Gradle application. And before that, I forgot to add the Java version I'll be using is 11. You can choose whichever version you have installed in your machine. In my case, I am using Java 11. So I'll click on generate. It will download a zip file containing the basic template. So it is downloaded. I can go to the folder. App.zip is the folder. I will take it to my workspace, and here I will extract it. So I have extracted the folder. Now I can delete this zip file. Okay. Now I'll open this application with uh, Intellij IDEA. So Intellij IDEA is an IDE which I am using for this project. You people can choose any IDE of your choice. So let me search for Intellij. I am using Intellij IDEA Community Edition. So let's open it. It takes some time and to open. So what it is asking is which project I need to open. I'll choose open or import. It will take me to, I have to choose the correct folder. So the folder is uh, in my under user, I have the workspace folder, and in workspace, I have the app folder, this one. I selected it. So it will take some time to import the Gradle project and set it in IntelliJ. We have to wait for some time. Yeah, so it is importing, if you can see. uh, I will maximize it. If it is as it is importing, I'll click on the background button so that it will do the job in the background, and the tip of the day comes, so I'll choose to close it, maximizing it. So still the Gradle import is on. If I expand it, I'll able to see there is a .gitignore file, there is a build.gradle file, there is a gradlew.sh, gradlew.bat, settings.gradle, help me.md, uh, and there is a src folder, there is a gradle folder. So let's inspect the items one by one. So settings.gradle contains the root project name. If you see root project name, uh, so asking you can configure Gradle wrapper to use distribution with source. It will provide ID with Gradle. I'll choose OK. Apply suggestions. Okay. So my project name is app. So that is what it is showing. Helpme.md. You can write anything for anything related to your project for the information of an layman. Then these are the files through which we can run. Gradle.bat is used when we are using Windows, and gradlew.sh is used when we are using Linux operating system. Build.gradle is the main project file. If you see, we have added these two dependencies. Those are added, and the Spring test starter test dependency is added by default. My group name is this, version is this, source compatibility. If you remember, we have choose Java 6, sorry, Java 11, and these plugins are added by default. Apart from this, we have to add one more dependency, implementation com dot h2 database colon h2. So H2 is an in-memory database. So if Spring Boot will find we have added Spring Data JPA and it will find H2 is there, it will by default take care of creating a DB and the uh, request, sorry, other entities by default. So just a minute. So the import is still not finished anyway. We'll see what it is created also. So if you see, there is a src folder. Under that we have main Java, there is a resources, as well as we have work Spring Data example app. So it is telling JDK not defined. I'll click on setup JDK. I'll choose 11. So it is pretty much done. So now I will add, I'll create a class called student. Student would be an entity class. So just wait for some time. It is taking long time. Otherwise, what I can do is I can restart the I think the indexing is done. That is why right now it is showing properly. So here in this package, I'll create a Java class called student. So student would be an entity. So I'll make it as an entity with an entity. Table would be student. So it corresponds to student table. I'll import the class. Java for systems. Now I have to create the ID. Okay. ID would be private long ID, then private string name, private string program, private string address. These are the variables I am using. So now I'll create the constructor and all. Just a minute. It should be name student. Now I'll create the constructor. To create the constructor, you can choose right click. You can right click, then choose generate. Otherwise, you can directly click Alt plus insert. So I am choosing Alt plus insert. I'll create the constructor first. First, I'll create a no argument constructor. For that, I am choosing select node. So I get the no argument constructor. Next, I'll create a parameterized constructor. For the parameterized constructor, I need all these three variables only. ID need to be auto created. Then next, I'll create the getter and setter for all the variables. Next, I will create the equals and hashcode method, and I'll choose all the defaults, and I'll get my equals and hashcode. Next, I'll create the toString method. So toString is also done. So I am done with my entity. Now I will create my repository. So basically, repository is what through which we connect to the DB. So then it will be an interface, and it should be, I am naming it as student repository. Yeah, done. So this repository should extend from CRUD repository, and the CRUD repository is a default interface provided by Spring Data, and at the runtime the implementation is created. So it is a generic interface, so I have to provide the types. So the type is student, and next is long. Long is the ID type for student. That is why we are using it here. Okay, add that query. I will create a query, public string, sorry, public list of students, get by uh, name, string name. So basically, the CRUD repository has all the many default methods. If I'll try to open it, you can see it has many default methods: save, to create, save all, find by ID, find all. These are by default different methods. Delete and all are there, but I want to create add few methods on top of it. That is why I choose get by name. The so that means I want to check the students based on the name. So I'll also check add another method called uh, public list of students, get by program. I'll mark it as repository REST resource so that whatever methods available on this interface, for those the corresponding uh, string sorry REST would be created. Now so I am done with this. So let's start the application. I click on this Gradle window, tasks, application. I am choosing boot run. So when I am choosing boot Gradle task boot run, basically it is compiling the application, and it will start it. As it would be done for the first time, it will initially take some time. Second time onwards, it will be faster. So just wait for some time uh, to get it completed. So what it is saying is Spring application started at port 8080. Persistent unit is created. Default persistent unit is created. It is using Hibernate dialect S2 dialect because we have added S2. So let's see if it works. Localhost 8080 will so basically what it is telling is we have to use students. is our URL. By default the students is created, so basically there is no student. So to create a student, we need a REST client. So I have installed a REST client called ARC, Advanced REST Client, which I can use for REST testing. I can also use Postman, but I like ARC. So I am clicking on ARC REST Client. Uh, so if you see, I am clicking here localhost 8080. I am getting students. I click on it again. The array is 0. Now let's say I have to create a student. So by default, the REST API is created, and all the methods of the REST API are mapped to students because the name of the uh, entity was student. That is why. So now I have changed the method to post. I have to create a student object. Now to create a student object, I have to create a JSON. I have to send a JSON request. Now create it. See, the content type application JSON is already added. So I'll click on body. So here I'll see what are the variable names for student. The variable names are ID, name, program, and address. ID should be get created automatically by Hibernate. We don't have to worry. We have to pass three variables: name, program, and address. So name is here. I can see Chandrasekhar. I'll change course to program. So I'll send request. I'll see there is an error. What is the error? We have to find. Okay. So basically what it is telling is the ID for this class must be manually assigned. So we have to tell uh, how the IDs would be created. So we have to change the ID generation method. So here we have to choose which ID generation method we would be using. So we have to change it. Give me a moment, I will change it. So friends, I'll make it at the rate generated value, and with respect to generated value I have to put one strategy. Strategy would be generation type, anything we can put, we'll make it identity. And one more change we have to do here, we have to put two more. uh, so the path I'll make student instead of students, and collection resource relation, that should be also student. So let's restart it once again. So it will compile again. If you see, it is compiling again. I will go to arc, choose send, throwing not found. Sorry, it is students. As we have changed it to student again, so it is returning, it is created. If you see here, the output, no output is there. Okay, anyway, so I will now what I'll try to do is I'll try to get. Click on get. So if you see student, I get an output. So student name Chandrasekhar, program this, it's come. So how I can get it? Get only the student, only this student based on its ID. So if I click on this, I'll get only Chandrasekhar. Okay. Now let's say I'll try to delete it. So simply I'll put delete. I pass the student ID. So student, I believe it is deleted. I'll try to get it once more. It is returning not found. Okay. Now I'll create it again. So this time I'll remove it from the path. Body remains same. I click send. 201 created. Let's say I'll try to create another user. Let's say it is Abhiram. He is doing MS, address Bangalore. So if you see, I also got 201. So I'll choose get. So if I'll send, now in the array I got two students. One is Chandrasekhar, another one is Abhiram. So friends, so this way you can create a Spring Boot RESTful application without creating the controller by help of this Spring Boot data REST and Spring Boot JPA. So just remember, instead of creating a controller, you mark the repository interface, repository REST resource, give the path, use the collections resource relation. So that would be suffice. Thanks friends for listening to me. If you really like the video, then please click the like button. Thank you.